rūḍhaṁ. Hṛdi rūḍhaṁ durātmanaḥ. Hṛdi rūḍhaṁ durātmanaḥ. pārakyasyaiva dehasya. Bahvyo kṣauhiṇīr hatāḥ. King Yudhiṣṭhira said, "O my lot, I am the most sinful man. Just see my heart, which is full of ignorance. This body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many phalanxes of men."
Homi paśyatājñānaṁ hṛdi rūḍhaṁ durātmanaḥ pārakyasyaiva dehasya bahvyo kṣauhiṇīr hatāḥ. So, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj says that this body is meant for others. It is others' body. Everyone should be interested for his own body. Who is interested for others' body? I eat for maintenance of my body, not that your body. It is the very good argument given by Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, that first of all ascertain whether it is your body. If for the bodily sense gratification, satisfaction, you are committing so many sinful lives, but first of all consider whether this body is yours. Now, first of all consideration is this body is given by the father and mother. So, actually the body belongs to the father and mother. Or, just like the slaves, they sell their body to the master. If somebody maintains your body, then it becomes, the body belongs to him. Suppose you are working somewhere and he is giving you money for maintaining your body, then actually the body is maintained for the person who gives me payment. You see, so many people are going to the other side of the river, running very quickly to go there, because the body is sold to that master who is paying for eating. Otherwise, why is taking the body there? So, actually the body belongs to others, and spiritually the body belongs to Krishna. But when we forget our relationship with Krishna, the body belongs to somebody else. That's a fact. Then we think that the body belongs to my father and mother or this or that. Sometimes we do not think that. So why, from material point of view, if the body does not belong to me, why shall I commit so many sinful activities for others. So, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is repentant that pārakyasyaiva dehasya bahvyo me kṣauhiṇīr hatāḥ. Many hundreds and thousands of soldiers, horses, elephants, men we have killed. Kṣauhiṇīr, there is a calculation, 64,000 elephants, 64,000 horses, and 64,000, like that exactly I cannot, but some of the items are 64,000 chariots. One, nowadays it is called exactly a group of soldiers, what is called? Phalanxes, and another name is there. No. What is that? Tradition? Division. One division. One division of army consisting of so many horses, so many elephants, chariot, there are different types of fighters. Somebody would fight from the back, riding on the back of the elephant, somebody on horses, that is also nowadays current, cavalry, and somebody on chariot, somebody standing, infantry. So, one kṣauhiṇīr means 64,000 elephants, horses, chariot, and so many thousand infantry. That makes one division. So, Krishna himself gave so many divisions to Yudhiṣṭhira. Altogether there are 18 divisions, or more than that. They are all killed. So, actually, a sane man is thinking that after all, the idea was that I should be enthroned on this chair, on this throne of the kingdom, and for me, so many animals and men were killed. Here it is mentioned, yes. A solid phalanx of 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 109,650 infantry, and 65,600 cavalry is called a kṣauhiṇīr. Such 18 divisions of soldiers were there on one side, and many kṣauhiṇīrs were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, as the most pious king of the world, takes for himself the responsibility of killing such a huge number of living beings because the battle was fought to reinstate him on the throne. This body is, after all, meant for others. While there is life in the body, it is meant for the service of the others, and it is dead. It is meant to be eaten up by the dogs and jackals. Even that is dead body, that is also meant for others. If you throw it on the street, then it will be eaten by the animals and the vultures. The body is meant for others. Or if you don't throw, if you burn it, then it is the right of the sons to burn it. Then it belongs to them. So either living or dead, logically, the body belongs to others. And another logic is, who is interested to maintain a body which belongs to others? This is logic. And other point is that everyone is maintaining this body with so many sinful activities, although the body does not belong to him. So, real sanity is to understand that this body belongs to Krishna. We are misunderstanding that this body belongs to my father and mother or my master or to the cats and dogs or the vulture in so many ways. That is material. Materially we can understand that. But spiritually this body belongs to Krishna. Because the body is meant of, prepared by the 8 elements. We have got the 5 elements, Bhumi, Rapa, Nala, Vayu. There is earth, water, air, fire. And the mind and the intelligence and the false ego, this is the 8 combination of the matter. Then the matter being agitated, there are 10 senses and then sense objects. In this way, this body is composition of 24 elements. But all these elements, Krishna says, bhinna me prakriti astadha, that is my energy. This body is made by Krishna's property. Earth, water, air, fire, this is all Krishna's property. You cannot create earth, or you cannot create water, you cannot create a sky, nothing of the material elements. It is created by Krishna, and this body is, this external body is made of these 8 elements. Similarly, I am also Krishna's. Aparayam mitastu vidhimi prakritim para jiva bhut. Me para prakriti, jiva bhut. Jiva, the living entities, they are para prakriti, superior energy, but that is also me, mine. So I, as Aham Brahmasmi, because Krishna is absolute, in that sense, I, the energy of Krishna, and Krishna, we are one. Aham Brahmasmi means that. Or I belong to Krishna. The Mayavadi thinks that I have become Krishna. No, the Vaishnava philosophy is that I am Krishna's property. Not that I become Krishna. That's like the part and parcel of my body, this finger, the finger can claim that I am part and parcel of the body, but the finger cannot claim that I am the whole body. That is not possible. So actually, our body belongs to Krishna, and I also belong to Krishna. The parakya, in both senses, it belongs to other. Other means Krishna. So, logically, both the body, mind, intelligence and myself, everything should be engaged for Krishna's interest. That is real knowledge. That is real knowledge. Krishna says that Khetragancha vimang vidhi sarva khetreshu bharat. He is also Khetragya. I am Khetragya because I possess this body, and the body is Khetra. the field of activities. Just like here, the cultivators, they have got, each one of them have got some land, and they are producing food grains or any other products according to his ability and capacity, and he is enjoying this property. Therefore, he is called Kshetrajña or Khetri. The field is called Kshetra, and the owner is called Khetri or Kshetrajña. Kshetrajña means that cultivator knows that this earmarked land is mine, Kshetrajña, it belongs to me. So actually, this field does not belong to him, it belongs to the government. Because he has to collect tax to the collector. So actually, land does not belong to him, it belongs to the government. Similarly, where is the difficulty to understand that although I am cultivating this body, karma, with taking this body as my field of activities, we are doing work. Everyone can understand it. But finally, this body belongs to Krishna, as this land belongs to the government. Therefore, Krishna claims, Kshetrajñaṁ māṁ viddhi. As there are in cities two taxes, occupier tax and owner's tax. Rented house. Actually the house belongs to the landlord. But the tenant also claims this is my house. But finally the house belongs to the landlord. So Krishna claims, Kshetrajñaṁ māṁ viddhi sarva kshetresu bharata. The same example, as the piece of land, some bighas of land belongs to a certain person, he can claim this is my land. Similarly, other man can claim it is my land, other can claim my land, but all these lands belongs to the government. Similarly, I claim this is my body, you claim it is your body, he claims it is his body, but ultimately all bodies becomes to Krishna. This is clear understanding. Where is the difficulty to understand that everything belongs to Krishna? Ishavasam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to Krishna. So, this is knowledge. This is knowledge, and when you come to the right knowledge, after many, many births, even Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira, of course he is playing the part of ordinary man, pious man. Pious man is also not perfect. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj should have thought like this, that yes, this body does not belong to me, but it belongs to Krishna, and Krishna desired that with this body there must be fighting for his satisfaction. So Arjuna thought like that. Arjuna thought like that. Arjuna is higher grade devotee than Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj has got personal consideration. When Krishna advised him that you go to Dronacharya and speak this lie, that his son Ashwatthama is dead, otherwise he will not die. You go and speak. So he hesitated. He said, how is that? I never spoke lies. How can I go and say the lie? So this personal consideration is there, that if I speak lies, then I will be sinful and I will be punished and so on, so on. But a devotee does not think like that. Maybe it is sinful, but it will satisfy Krishna, I must do it. This is devotee's decision. Just like Krishna sometimes become sick. So, in Dwarka, you have seen that play in Bombay, and so many physicians came, nobody could cure him. Then Krishna suggested his own medicine, that if some of my devotees will give the dust of his feet on my head, then I will be cured. So, the first devotee, Narada and others, everywhere, it was approached that give your dust of feet, Krishna is suffering. No, how can I give my dust of feet? See, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when the gopis were approached, when they heard that Krishna is sick and he is in urgently necessity of the dust of his devotees' feet, see, immediately they began to give. Take it immediately. They did not consider that giving the dust of my feet to Krishna, I shall go to hell. Never mind, I shall go to hell, it doesn't matter. But let Krishna be cured. That is first consideration. So this is the topmost devotee. Prepared to do anything without any consideration. That is devotee. Annavilasita sunnam. Anukullena Krishnanusilanam. There should be no personal desire. That should be zero. Annavilasita sunnam jnana karmadana. Simply one should try to please Krishna. There is no other concern, only to satisfy Krishna. That is pure bhakti. That is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vyavasatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana. Bahusaka janantascha buddhi avyavasayināṁ. This is perfect conclusion, that I shall execute the desire of Krishna. But Krishna is not physically present before me. Then how I shall know what Krishna desires? That is not very difficult. Krishna's representative is there, the spiritual master. If you fulfill the desire of the spiritual master, then you fulfill the desire of Krishna. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. That is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If you please your spiritual master, then you know that I have pleased Krishna. Jasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. Jasya aprasadat nagati kutopi. If you displease your spiritual master, then you are nowhere. Your position is lost. Therefore, yesterday we were explaining the 10 kinds of offenses. Out of 10 kinds of offenses, the serious offense is guru avajñā, disobedience of the order of Guru. This is the verdict of the Shastra. Krishna is helping us in so many ways. He comes personally to help us, to deliver us from these clutches of Maya, and he advises sarva-dharmān parityajya māmekam saranam bhaja. And when he is not physically present, he keeps Bhagavad Gita left by him so that others may read and take advantage of the sublime instruction of Krishna. So, he is helping us from within. Buddhi yogam dadamitam. From within. Tene brahma rida. This statements are there in the Shastras. He expounded the Vedic knowledge, hṛdi, from the heart. Brahma means Vedic knowledge, Sabda Brahma, to Brahma. Because at that time there was nobody to instruct him. How he got the instruction of Vedas? Because Krishna instruction. Krishna hai te chaturmukh. Hoy Krishna sevanumukh. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said. Chaturmukh means Brahma. So, being instructed by Krishna, Brahma became inclined to serve Krishna. Therefore he has written Brahma Sangita. Govindam Adipurusam Tamaham Bhajami. He understands, here is Adipurus. I am the only creature now within the universe. So, I am getting instruction from Krishna, hṛdi, from my heart. So Krishna, when instructs from within the heart, he is called Chaitya Guru. And that Chaitya Guru is expanded by this process, personal presentation of spiritual masters. Both ways he is helping us. Krishna is so kind. Guru Krishna Kripa. Krishna is helping from within, but sometimes we are so dull, naturally, that we cannot understand. Therefore, he sends his representative to instruct externally. So he is helping internally and externally. There is no difference between the internal and external instruction. We should take advantage of this instruction. That is called vyavasadmika buddhi, fixed up resolution. Fixed up resolution. If we become fixed up in this resolution, that whatever we have heard from my Guru, the representative of Krishna, I must execute it. I do not care for my personal convenience or inconvenience. This is my life and soul. Then your life is perfect. Then your life is. If I make some amendment, addition, alteration, in the name of Krishna or Guru, then it is spoiled. No. We should receive the instruction as it is, especially Krishna says, just like Krishna says to Yudhiṣṭhira, go and speak the lie. And he speaks to Arjuna that Yudhiṣṭhira, Mahamanusma, you would fight. So not the instruction is the same to everyone. Krishna knows who is capable to do something particular. And similarly, Guru also knows. So it is not that the same instruction is given to all. There may be, because variety. It is not impersonalism, one kind of. No. Variety. Krishna is Anandamaya. Ananda means variety is the mother of enjoyment. Unless there are varieties, how there can be Ananda? Krishna is Sachidananda. So, Krishna's business is variety. The Mayavadi, they cannot understand. They simply understand that we are one. No. Varieties. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vrikkha lakha bhritesu surabhi rabhipalaya. Krishna is enjoying varieties. He is living in the Chintamani, dham. There are surabhi. He is tending the cows. He is playing with the cowherd boy. He is making jokes with the gopis. He is enjoying the company, varieties. He is becoming the son, dependent son, Mother Jasoda. So Krishna is variety. Without variety there cannot be enjoyment. So therefore, variety of instruction also. So that is given by the spiritual master. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. And because Krishna is not one-sided. So as confidential representative of Krishna, we have to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. As it is given particular to me, I should execute without any personal consideration. That is the perfection of life. Because after all, this body is meant for Krishna, the mind is meant for Krishna, I am also Krishna's part and soul. So pārakyasyaiva. Everything belongs to somebody else. Finally, that somebody else is Krishna. So if we fix up our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna and serve him, and then our life is perfect. Thank you very much.
Right. Wonderful lecture, very instructive by Srila Prabhupada. The body had a nice breakdown from the material, understanding of who owns what, and then finally to Krishna. And then the conclusion here is, body is for Krishna, the mind is for Krishna, therefore we should also be willing to serve Krishna. That should be our condition, our understanding of life. So dear devotees, this is time that we have discussions. If you have any realizations, please unmute yourself and share the realization. Or if you have a question, we will also try to deal with that question as Guru and Guranga allows us. So please unmute yourself now in joining the Hare Krishna, Krishna Katha. Hare Krishna. Anyone?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance, O Krishna Prabhupada. Two takeaways, and I'll have others share. One of it is definitely Prabhupada is reminding us that this body doesn't belong to us, but to the Lord. He distincted it between. He gave a distinction between material and spiritual. Yes, materially it belongs to our parents, as father, mother, country, whatever. But spiritually, it's the Lord, because at the end of our death, and I was meditating on this, reflecting, on this is, when we come to death, it doesn't go to the material aspects, the material, control. It goes to Krishna. So, evidently and eventually, our bodies belong to Krishna, spiritually. So that was a very, very good reminder for us. Another point that I really liked Prabhupada mentioning is, pleasing the Guru means pleasing Krishna. That was a very, very important point for me, because sometimes we get caught up in our material, obligations and commitments and sense gratification, and the list goes on, that we forget that, is this pleasing to Krishna? Is this pleasing to Guru? Because if Guru is not pleased, then Krishna is evidently not pleased. Prabhupada made it so clear. But if the Guru is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. So that was a very strong point, that in all our actions and behavior and everything, we always have to make sure that it's, even in our daily interactions, our association, our anything, is it pleasing to Guru? And if it's not, then we should just stop it. And then, of course, Prabhupada always ends with, I don't know what is the difficulty. He makes it so light and simple. And yeah, we make it difficult. That's the problem, because our minds have so much, so many attachments and we want to do this, we want to do this because we want it in our way. Therefore, we make it difficult, but it's actually very simple. So these are my takeaways. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Yes, the connection to Guru is very important. This is how we connect to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada made a very important point in the middle of this, which is also part of my takeaway. But in the meantime, we'll have devotees share more if you want to. Unmute yourself, please, and do that. Hare Krishna. All right, so while the devotees are thinking, I'll share some of the things that I took notes from. Srila Prabhupada definitely starts talking about the body. And very nicely, he he introduced what he was going to talk about by first saying, our bodies ours. Are these bodies ours? Then it says first, the body is given by the parents. So it's through the parents, and then that's from a material standpoint. And then he talks about who gets to own the body indirectly. Directly, parents, materially, but indirectly, depending on the situation that we get ourselves in, others can also lay claim to our bodies. For example, there's slave and master. The slave works with the master. The master maintains the slave. Therefore, now the body that's being used by the slave is for the benefit of the master. So in that sense, now the master owns the slave, or for that matter, employees and employers. Same thing also. We go to do work for the employer with our physical bodies and our minds. And so, again, the employer is the one that's now benefiting from our service to him. So then, in that sense, the body also can be laid claim of by the employer. But spiritually, the body belongs to Krishna. And Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira was concerned about the number of people that died because of him. He was to be put on the throne, and that many people had to be killed. And so he was concerned. Materially, if the body does not belong to me, that was his point. Why should I cause this killing and therefore commit so many sinful activities? So that he was reasoning like that. He was complaining about the Kurukshetra war. And there were 18 kṣauhiṇīrs. 11 of them were for Duryodhana's side, and 7 were for the Pandavas' side. So 18 divisions, or kṣauhiṇīrs. And he even broke it down. In the phalanx, we have 21870 chariots, 21,870 chariots, 21,870 elephants, 109,650 infantry, this is the foot soldiers, and 65,600 cavalry, that is those that are on horses, and that's one division. And there were 18 divisions. So even more. All of them were killed. Now, then he begins to make a case about the body belonging to Krishna. The body is made of 5 gross elements, that's earth, water, fire, air, and space, ether, and 3 subtle elements, mind, intelligence, and the sense of identity, the ego. But they all belong to Krishna. They're all Krishna's creation. Therefore, the body belongs to Krishna. So then we should conclude, I belong to Krishna. And he makes a point of the Maya bodies, thinking that they have become Krishna. That's incorrect. We are actually part and parcels of Krishna. So logically, the body should be engaged to serve Krishna. just like the parts of the tree serve the tree, the branches serve the tree, the roots serve the tree, and so on. So the body is kshetra, the field for activities. And the knower of the body is kshetrajñā. So this is information that's in the Bhagavad Gita. Much is described there. Now, still, he makes some more analogies. In the city, there are two taxes, the occupier tax and the owner tax. The landlord can say, this is my house. But the tenant also sometimes says, this is my house, because he lives there. The landlord does not. But actually, the house belongs to the government because they have laws that control properties. Ultimately, all material things belong to Krishna, though. And this knowledge is the right knowledge. And that's what we have to understand. Everything. The earth, we can't create it. We can't create water. We cannot create fire. We cannot create, but all of these things are part of everybody's body. Therefore, since Krishna or Lord Vishnu was the one that caused them to come into being, then the body itself, which is part of this 5 elements and the 3 subtle ones, 5 gross, 5 and 3 subtle, they have to be belong to Krishna. Therefore, just like the slave master owns the slave and have the slave work for the master, if Krishna owns the body, then we should work for Krishna, which means we have to do service to satisfy Krishna's senses. Then he gave more examples. The devotee must do everything to satisfy Krishna. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was ordered to speak lies in order to get rid of durātmanaḥ because he couldn't be gotten rid of that easily, and nobody could defeat him. Krishna could, but he wasn't going to fight. He said he wasn't going to fight. Balaram was not there, and nobody could get rid of Drona. And so the plan was put together by Krishna, and Yudhiṣṭhira was ordered to speak, untruth in order to get rid of durātmanaḥ ultimately. But he didn't want to because he was known as a person who is an honest person. But Arjuna, after being convinced from the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna told him, Arjuna fought for Krishna. He fought for Krishna without, that time when Bhagavad Gita was explained, he fought without any hesitation. So Srila Prabhupada said, in that sense, Arjuna was even a better devotee than his older brother. Because Yudhiṣṭhira decided not to obey Krishna. He didn't want to speak lies. Now, when Krishna was sick, another example, and he needed the dust from the feet of the devotees in order for him to be cured, there were devotees that were told about it, and they said, I give the dust of my feet to the Lord, then I will go to hell, and I don't want to go to hell. So they declined to give the dust of their feet. But when the gopis were told about it, the cowherd girls from Vrindavan, they didn't mind going to hell at all for doing that. They were, please take dust from my feet. If it's going to make Krishna feel better, then we are willing to do that. So we should really execute the will of Krishna. But since we cannot relate directly to him, we don't have even the eyes to see the deities for real, then we take instructions from his representative, the spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada talked about 10 offenses, and the third offense actually is a very serious offense when we disobey the spiritual master. We should never think to disobey the spiritual master at any point. The bona fide spiritual master gives instruction that should be our life and soul. This is how, by the way, Srila Prabhupada started the movement. He had a spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, and his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, says, go preach the Krishna consciousness philosophy in English in the Western countries. When you get money, print books. 2 major instructions that were given to Srila Prabhupada. He followed those instructions, And this is how the society came to be. And this is how book distribution had become such a cornerstone for spreading Krishna consciousness around the world. He came to America, and then he traveled around the world to speak English, to teach, and he also wrote books, printed them, just like the spiritual master wanted him to do. And that was where the success came. So if we take the instructions of the spiritual master and execute them, literally with the consciousness that our life depends on it, the success of our life on this earth depends on what the spiritual master has asked us to do, and we having to follow it to the best of our abilities, this is how it becomes successful. So this is some of the things that I wrote down. Maybe some other devotees might want to chime in some more. There are some more points that Srila Prabhupada brought up. Please unmute yourself if you so desire. Hare Krishna. If you want to ask questions, you can also. If not, then I'll add a few more that I took down. Very important point about the spiritual master being the representative of Krishna. So we have to take the spiritual master's instruction, as I just told you. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj was the spiritual master for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada obeyed him and did everything. That's how this movement has spread and become an international movement. So Krishna has also, even though we don't see him, can't relate to him directly, he's left us Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is helping us from within, that is as Paramatma. But sometimes we don't understand, so he sends Guru to teach us externally. So Krishna is helping us internally and externally through the agency of Guru. So he's that merciful. He wants us to go back. So all this help is being given. So we should serve Guru and serve Krishna, not caring for our own convenience, personal convenience. That is a real devotee. A real devotee, no matter what inconvenience seems to come, and everybody that tries to serve will face some kind of inconvenience at some point, because it is our test to see how genuine we are in offering loving devotional service to the Lord and the Lord's devotees. And as soon as that comes, and say, oh, there's inconvenience, so that's my excuse. I'm going to go tell management of a temple that there is this problem, there's that problem, so I can't do it. That means we don't really have our hearts out for the Lord. We always have to see about dealing with the inconvenience first, not backing out first. That's not the way to be a devotee that will actually develop love for Krishna. Shane, Prabhu, I know you raised electronic hand, so go ahead and ask a question, Hare Krishna, or comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. There's a question in the chat here.
Okay, thank you. Let me get to that. Okay, so this is thank you for bringing that up. Dear Krishna Prabhu, okay, it's written on the chat. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada mentioned a point about serving orders and desires of Sri Guru. But sometimes it is seen that the orders and desires of Sri Guru are tweaked and manipulated to serve one's own agenda. Are there a few guidelines that we can follow as a checklist to avoid getting trapped on those personal agendas? Very important question, and thank you for bringing this question up. Very, very important. Guru gives orders, and we're supposed to serve the orders, because Guru is not giving an order for himself. It's for the devotee's own benefit, the devotee's own advancement, or for the Dham to be able to go on the way things are supposed to be done. The Dham or the temple is for 100% service to the Lord. And so Guru's instructions are based on that. It's all for Krishna ultimately. But sometimes the orders may be tweaked a little bit or manipulated, as they put it, to serve one's own agenda. Any disciple that does that is certainly not a first-class disciple, not even a second-class disciple. It goes, that person is a third-class disciple. There's first, second, third, and fourth. So let's explain this and see why it fit, and then to answer the question as to whether that's a good idea or not, or what should be done. First-class disciple has been serving the Guru for quite a while. And this particular disciple knows what the Guru wants done, especially on a regular basis. There are some things that are repeated all of the time. And the Guru has already instructed that that service be done. And the first-class disciple always does the service. But he got to the point that he knows that it's going to be like that. Therefore, they just go ahead and do it without the Guru having to ask them, because they know already that is needed, that service. That's the first class. Second-class disciple is the disciple who does not know the Guru's mind and how some things are done. But anything that the Guru asks, he or she would definitely do it without any reservation. Third-class disciple is one, the Guru says, do this, do that, and that's where the question from the Krishna Prabhu fits here. The third-class disciple sometimes gives excuses, and the whole idea is to try to change what the Guru has said to do into something else, and sometimes even back out of the service altogether. By coming up with, well, I have this happening and this happening, therefore I can't do this. It can happen to people who have been in devotional service even for a long time. Maya is always checking to see, are we still genuine in our service to Krishna, to Guru, and to the devotees? Are we genuine? He's always checking. The situation with Maya and ourselves is, the analogy has been given, and I remember Srila Radhanath Swami gave that. It's like you have a metal pan or container. You have water in it. Water is your devotion. And Maya tricks us to get to the point where we actually begin to slip. And that slipping process is, the analogy for that is like punch a small hole at the bottom of the container. Well, what's going to happen? The water is going to start leaking. And after a while, there won't be any water left. So that's what's going to happen. Anywhere that we are weak, Maya will try us there. And so we have to be very, very careful. Otherwise, little by little, we will go down. The water level will go down inside the container. And the water is our bhakti. It's going to get to the point there will not be any bhakti. And that's why it's a little dangerous, because when the leak starts, you still see water in the container. So then you might think, oh, I'm still all right. Got this excuse, that excuse. Some things I'll do, some things I won't do. But the devotion is already beginning to leak away. The person is going down. So it is very, very important that we do not tweak. But there is a concession, and that concession we should definitely use. The concession is taught by Krishna himself. When you approach Guru, he says, inquire submissively. We shouldn't tweak anything or manipulate any kind of orders, but we can ask questions about it for clarity. If there is some difficulty with it, point it out to Guru. Let him know up front, so that if there's supposed to be any kind of slight change that needs to be done, then the Guru would give permission for that to happen. And if the Guru gives the permission, that's not manipulation. So the change in the things that we got to do from the orders of the Guru has to be performed by the Guru himself. And I'll tell you one story. There was a god brother of mine. We were getting arguing. And the temple board was having a meeting. Both of us were members of the board. And one sannyasi, and I won't mention names now, so who was visiting Girinagri, had given specific instructions on things that needed to be that he wanted done. It was such that it was brought up in one meeting in the temple board. Mm-hmm. And I got into a, not dispute, but a debate back and forth with my god brother. Because from the material standpoint, he thought that the Guru did not think through the orders properly, therefore it needed to be changed. From a material standpoint, it seemed like that. And I stuck to my guns because I was the one that was supposed to do it. I said, no, we have to do it because Guru ordered it this way. He said, no, but you can do it this other way too, and it'll be more efficient. I put my foot down and I said, I don't disobey the orders of spirit. He gave it this way, and that's the way it's going to be done. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I was actually senior to him also, so it was too difficult to get my point through. He was a junior devotee to me. I was initiated before him. Mm-hmm. But he was quite popular, Brahmachari at the time. Mm-hmm. So Guru has to be obeyed. I'll tell you one more story. This is now Srila Prabhupada himself about book distribution. He was telling the devotees in the temple, so it was a class, but he also broke into this. He segued into how to distribute the books that he had written. And he gave specific instructions on how devotees, when they go out, they should, distribute books in the way he was describing. There were two disciples of Srila Prabhupada who were in the temple. They both raised their hands. They have some background in business. So they wanted to share their ideas about the business marketing strategy. So then they told Srila Prabhupada, with all due respect, I think that it's best to approach it this other way. So they said something which was contrary to what Srila Prabhupada had instructed the whole set of devotees in the temple to do for book distribution. They weren't trying to be disrespectful to Srila Prabhupada. They were very convinced that from a business standpoint, what they were thinking of was correct. So they voiced it out to Srila Prabhupada. What did Srila Prabhupada do? Srila Prabhupada listened to them patiently, and then when they finished, he repeated how he had told the devotees to distribute the book. He repeated it the same way. He did not change and didn't take their instructions, their suggestions. Those two devotees raised their hand again. And they tried to explain a little more to Srila Prabhupada why their way of doing the book distribution was actually going to be more successful. Then Srila Prabhupada said, all right, so you two do it your way then. Then the class was finished. Devotees had prasadam in the morning. They went out to distribute books, and guess what happened? These two devotees that wanted to do the book distribution their own way failed miserably. They couldn't sell books. And the other devotees that used Srila Prabhupada's way of the instructions were successful. And it got to the point where, at the end of the day, the devotees realized that those two business-minded people who disobeyed the strategy given by Srila Prabhupada had actually been such a failure. And those two were very embarrassed. They did not return to the temple out of embarrassment because everybody had known about it. They came back and talked about it. So with a couple of these examples, please be aware that when Guru gives instructions, you should do it exactly as it is. If you're not clear about something, then ask a question, but don't try to change any part of it. Even if in your mind, materially, you think it can be done another way, do it anyway. If the Guru has told you do it in a particular way, do it that way. Do it that way. Sometimes you can even do, we'll say one more thing about it. Sometimes you can do the instructions or carry out the instructions exactly the way Guru said to do it. And there might be some material failure. Carrying out the Guru's instructions, something may not go well. Don't let the mind and the false ego say, yeah, see, all the while I was thinking that it could be done this other way, and Guru wasn't thinking about it. This is all, this statement I just made is a Guru aparad. Immediately. It's an offense. Because sometimes Krishna would give Guru instructions that come from Guru to us is actually from Krishna. He's a representative of Krishna. So sometimes it's our test. It's actually our test. In the sense that if we do that service, sometimes, and Krishna controls everything, it's the cause of all causes. So materially it may not work out. But that is a test to see how submitted we are to Guru. In other words, we should be at the point that service that's given to us, if there's directions on how to go about it, we should do it the way Guru says it and not change it. We can ask questions, but you cannot change what has been set up. You do it like that. And if it doesn't work out, materially, if it doesn't work out, you go back and report to Guru. I've tried, Maharaj, I've tried it this way, the way you told me to do it, and this is what happened. Then the Guru may tell you, all right, you can use this other method, or the Guru may say, forget about it altogether. Still, those decisions are made by Guru and not us. If you want to be a servant, you have to understand the master has the last word every time. So I'm glad you brought this point up. We could give it even more examples, but again, we're watching the time, so we'll stop here. But obey Guru's instructions to the T. Sometimes they'll tell you, okay, do this, and then they tell you, use your own strategy to do it. But that point, then you can't change things because, not even change things. You can actually plan it yourself. Sometimes Guru leaves the planning to you. And sometimes he gives you specific instructions about the planning of it. And if you give specific instructions, you have to go by that. You ask questions for clarity, and that's all. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Krishna Prabhu, for bringing this point up. This is called being humble and submissive. Otherwise, our false ego kicks in and we think we know better. Problems. That's all we cause for ourselves. Any final comments? If not, then, thank you very much for coming. The final conclusion Srila Prabhupada got to is we need to serve Krishna with all our hearts. We need to serve Guru with all our hearts. And Guru says something and we do it, then Krishna will also be satisfied. Guru is satisfied, Krishna is satisfied. So that's the way our lives should be. Hare Krishna. So with that, I don't see any more requests, so we'll just stop here. Vanchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sundhave evacha patitānaṁ pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Wait a minute. It looks like, all right. I'm sorry. If you don't mind saying, there's an additional comment and I'm going to read it and then we'll stop. Just an additional comment. Sometimes we also see people jumping around to different spiritual masters and different parampara and then end up where they see their agenda getting fulfilled. That is not true surrender or diksha. Not a good idea. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that is true. Sometimes some people move around they want a particular answer, and so they move around and they don't until they get somebody who tells them what they want to hear. Well, that's not real submission. That's not full surrender. That's true. Thank you again for adding that to it also. Vanchakalpatarubhishcha kripa sundhave evacha patitānaṁ pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So have a nice rest of your week.